So my connections on Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna be completely honest, I had no idea what Kingdom Hearts was. I only knew about Kingdom Hearts. Wait! Josh!
My first thought when Josh said, I want to do a Kingdom Hearts project was, yes, finally, this is something that I know very deep.
And I remember when Kingdom Hearts first came out, I played it, I was like, this is a super interesting game, it's fun, it feels like Final Fantasy, but then incorporated Disney characters, and it was a really original and new take on a franchise. Wholly influential in creating almost a new genre of gaming. It's about Kairi and Riku as they're searching for Sora, and they find themselves in the real world. And the real world is the last world. If they don't save this world, all the other worlds are gonna disappear. So how did this project come about? I remember seeing a commercial that Square had made, and it kind of posed Kairi as if she was gonna take on the mantle of the Keyblade hero. And then the game came out, and it was pretty much just playing as Sora all over again. I was like, how cool would it be to make something where you did see Kairi in that capacity? So how do you bring Disney characters into live action in a realistic way? And it's very, very hard. What if the next world that they go to is Earth? And that's when I was like, oh, I need to do this. When it came to casting Kairi, I knew that I needed somebody iconic. I needed somebody that was going to do justice to this character, somebody that had style and was an icon and had her own flair. And she just immediately, I saw her, I was like, oh, she's perfect. She's the perfect Kairi.
Hey y'all, my name is Julia Zhang, and I play the role of Kairi. So my background started with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then grappling and MMA, which consists of Muay Thai, some boxing, and wrestling.
My favorite part of the process was seeing Julia struggle with sword.
Martial arts really changed my life because it not only gave me the confidence, but it gave me everything else. It gave me the safety, knowing that I can be out and deter any issues that might arise. My first year in college, I ended up getting in a really bad situation. To this party, I'm on the phone with my friend trying to get directions, and I see this guy pull up with his hand out the sunroof window, waving for me to follow him. And he was like, yeah, the party's over here, follow me. I pull up behind him, I end up realizing there's another car behind him with 4 dudes in the back. So they lead me down some dark alley. I remember thinking, I called my friend, I was like, hey, I'm here. I think I'm in the back. I'm like flashing my lights. She's like, I don't see you. And that is when, I remember thinking, this is not right. He ended up getting aggressive, and he was like, what, you don't believe me? You don't believe me? That time, there was a bunch of gang rapes going on around my school. One of the girls I went to school with actually got gang raped like 2 weeks later in that same area. So I'm pretty sure that would have been me. And that scared me so much where I was like, I need to protect myself. When I won my first tournament was when my life changed. And I remember looking at these commercials on TV, and they're like, martial arts, join the gym because you're gonna get discipline, confidence, blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah. I'm like, this is bullshit. This is not true. There's no way that it could give you all this. It really, really does.
So when Josh said we were gonna do a Kingdom Hearts project, the first thing I'm thinking of is, oh, this is gonna be a lot more challenging than the stuff that we've done together. Like, we're gonna need actual lights, because we're shooting at night, we have to create everything ourselves. It's not just, exterior day. We're gonna need to build this from scratch.
When it came to the tone of Kingdom Hearts, that was also such a hard balancing act. We wanted to try to elevate this and make this feel realistic, grounded, gritty, and overwhelming. One of the key reference points for me, the Another World teaser from the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Really great, dark, visual style to it. Rain, it's got shiny black leather, long leather coat. It's got these crazy neon lights going on, a ton of Heartless appearing everywhere, lots of really fast action.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring to this was neon practicals. And what that did is it gave it such a unique vibe because we shot in an alleyway in downtown.
I just want to give a big shout out to RJ and Brandon, our gaffer and key grip, who put them up like basically all day before our night shoot, just like putting these various neon signs all over the walls of the alley and on the gate, and you know, came and looked at it and we're like, oh, this is worth everything.
It gives it a vibe that feels like Japan or Hong Kong, or it feels like another world, and to try to give it as much illumination as possible. Between that and the fog, those two elements really gave it a unique look.
Lots of flares, like lots of, you know, light streaking all over the place in this. And, you know, the way you would normally do this is you'd shoot it on anamorphic lenses and you get those flares, you know, in the glass, like in camera. Because we're doing a night shoot, because we want to shoot on really wide lenses, we want to get really close to the action, you just can't do that on anamorphic lenses. The physics do not work. So we have to shoot on spherical lenses, and we added in these streak filters, these blue streak filters that when the light hits them, they create that flare. And so this really gave us a lot of flexibility and the ability to be creative with these, you know, streaking light sources.
We tried to take the wardrobe of Kingdom Hearts and bring it into the real world. And that's really, really challenging because there's a lot of buttons and zippers and colors, bright colors that don't really translate into the real world. Kayla and I sat down. We kind of broke down what worked, what didn't work. We were like, okay, cool, we like this, we don't like this. And we had a few different wardrobe looks going, but we settled on the one because it felt like an evolved version of the Kingdom Hearts 3 wardrobe. And that's what we wanted.
I don't have, no, it's harder. It is so much harder. I had to do so many movements and takes where, because there were malfunctions with wardrobe and that I couldn't cover my face, and that I never realized how difficult it was to stunt double somebody. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do. So Kayla, she's such a sweet person. She was the one that came up with this pin thing that attached the hood to my head. And because of that, she saved so much time.
Her and I sat in my apartment and putting these costumes together, I think for 3 full days before the shoot. We built all of these suits on me, and it was her just gluing all of this stupid cheesecloth on this wardrobe. We tried to sew it, but glue ended up being the way to hold this together, and she spent so much time putting these suits together. She's got a great eye, and she really, really knows how to bring these things to life in a way that feels realistic, but also feels iconic.
In terms of shooting these characters of the Heartless, it's a real challenge because how do you shoot characters that are almost all black at night? Like, you can't just, you know, you could put a light on them, but they're still dark. It makes it really tricky, and so like a lot of it is, that's where like the fog really helps, and the backlight, so you can get those defined silhouettes to see what they're doing. We did a lot of just top light and backlight to just help define those edges and silhouettes, which is tricky to do when you're moving the camera around a lot, because, you know, normally if you have a backlight, you know, it's like just out of frame and like up high, but that just out of frame is not going to stay out of frame when you're doing the kinds of scenes that we're doing. So we had to get real creative in ways to, like, you know, arm out the lights overhead from behind camera, or behind where we think the camera probably won't see throughout the course of the shot as it's moving all around. Most days for filming are like, you know, 12-hour days. The problem is we were shooting this during the summer, and so you don't actually have 12 hours of darkness anymore. And there are, I don't know, if you go through and watch this, there are a lot of shots, like a lot of shots.
I'm trying to go more purple pink, but it looks pink as well.
I hate pink. It's a lot bigger than what I love to do and what I want to do. It was about inspiring other people to do that and get out of whatever like rut they feel like they're in, or whatever they feel like they have to do because the society pressures them to do it. Because I've been through that. Like, society and culturally, I've been pressured to do certain things and fit certain boxes. So if I could help someone not have to go through that and live a life of misery, then I would love to do that. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to Rogue Origins on YouTube.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. What was your favorite part? Was there a part you didn't like? What do you want to see next? Thanks, guys. See you next time.